What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another H.A.T format live duel commentary video for you guys. You have really been enjoying these, and I personally really enjoy playing with the physical cards, so it's definitely always great when I'm able to make these and actually get some friends together to record some matches. But anyways, I'm going to be on the bottom on the black playmat playing GoGoGo Zombies versus my friend who is going to be playing the Tin Gadget deck. Personally, this was in my early stages of testing the GoGoGo Zombie deck, and so I was still trying to learn the deck, learn the combos, and figure out what ratios I wanted, so it was definitely more of a learning experience for this game. And so I win the dice roll and get to start this one out. I start by activating Foolish, sending a copy of the GoGoGo Golem, and then from here I'm going to summon Goblindenberg, use the effect special summon a GoGoGo Ghost, which is going to allow me to special summon that GoGoGo Golem from graveyard, and that is an if effect, so it's not going to miss timing off the Goblindenberg. And then from here I'm going to overlay into a copy of Lavalval Chain, use the effect detaching the Ghost and sending a copy of Mizuki, which I'll activate right away, bringing back that copy of Ghost, and then overlaying into, I believe, a King of the Feral Imps here, which I'm then going to use the effect and get a copy of Kagado Kage. Again, this was kind of just my first take on learning this deck at this point. This was recorded a little while back when I was still, again, just testing around with this deck. Here I'm going to set one before passing over to him. He's going to normal summon Green Gadget, add a copy of Red Gadget, and set some back row here. From here, he is just going to pass, and I'm going to draw for turn, at which point I'm going to start by activating that King of the Feral Imps again, and getting, I believe, another Kagado Kage here because I already had Masked Chameleon in hand, and then I'm going to go for the Lavalval Chain, and he's going to take a second to think, and he's actually going to flip a copy of Breakthrough Skill, so unfortunate there, but I'm looking at my graveyard thinking what I should do, and I decide to just get a little aggressive here. I switch the King of the Feral Imps to attack. I attack over the Green Gadget with the Lavalval Chain before swinging in for 2,300 with the King of the Feral Imps. After that, I am going to go in main phase 2, summon the Masked Chameleon I had, bringing back the Goblindenberg, and then going and special summoning a copy of Stardust in defense, playing it a little bit safe given I believe my back row was a Compulse. From here, he's going to summon a copy of Red Gadget, adding a copy of Yellow Gadget, and he's seeing a lot of normal summons and not really a lot of extenders, so he just passes. I switch the Stardust to attack. I go battle phase, attacking with Lavalval Chain. He's going to chain a copy of Lance, so I'm actually gonna get my Lavalval Chain destroyed, and then here I'm attacking in with the King of the Feral Imps over the Red Gadget, and then attacking in with Stardust before going to main phase 2, where I believe I set one more back row before passing, and he's going to draw for turn, and he doesn't really see anything. Again, mostly just some normal summons and some back row that wasn't going to be relevant there. So I do take that game number 1. So moving on into game number 2, he will get to start out, and I was looking at my hand after siding, and I saw no side deck cards, and he opens really well, normal summoning Tin Goldfish, special summoning the Red Gadget, adding a copy of Yellow Gadget, overlaying into a Geargia X, using the effect and getting another Tin Gadget, or Tin Goldfish for next turn, my apologies there, and from here he's just going to pass. I draw for turn, summon a copy of Mathematician, which is going to be met with bottomless, but I will still be able to use the effect. And here, looking at my hand, I just send a copy of Mizuki because I didn't really have much else. I set 3 back row and pass it over to him. He's going to do basically the same play he did last turn, summoning the Tin Goldfish, summoning a Gadget, adding a Gadget, using the Geargia, adding another Tin Goldfish, and then playing it a little cautiously, just going to battle phase and attacking in for a lot of damage before going into main phase 2, and I believe here he makes a Dweller, and from this point he's just going to set more back row and pass it over to me. I'm not really seeing anything, but I am able to Dark Hole to slow down the process. He's going to chain the Dweller. Again, it's irrelevant because I don't really have anything here. I set another back row, and it's right back over to him. He draws for turn, and it just keeps on coming. He just has all the extenders and, you know, things that are going to apply pressure to me here. So, again, going for the Tin Goldfish play, and at this point, just going and attacking in, playing it slow, not wanting to run into any of those powerful sideboard cards or just blowout cards. Here he's going to go for a copy of Gaga Cowboy, which wouldn't be game, but over the span of 2 turns it would be. And so from here, I am going to go and activate Bottomless, and he just sets one over to me. I get a copy of Ghost, which I'm going to normal summon and attack in, because it does have a decent amount of attack here. And after that, he's just going to activate his Dark Hole, clearing it, normal summoning Mermail, and he's not using the effect. And at this point, I assume he has Trap Trick Trap Hole Nightmare. And he already used Bottomless, so he summons, just goes to attack. I use the Compulse, and then from there, he passes, I draw for turn, activate Rhoda, get a copy of Photon Thrasher, and I'm just trying to apply as much pressure and stay alive at this point, because I'm already so low in life. And so from this point, just attacking in with the Thrasher, passing it over, he goes for a red gadget, adding a yellow, and then at this point, I believe he just sets, 2 more back row, which is crazy, and I draw for turn, try to attack in, but he is going to activate a copy of Lance, which is meaning our monsters are going to crash, and from this point, I just set a monster. I believe it's a GoGoGo Golem, which has battle protection once. So here he summons the Mermail, attacks in, the Golem is protected, so I'm then going to draw for my turn, activate Mind Control, take his Mermail, switch the Golem to attack, swing in for some damage, and here's where I make the first big mistake. Maybe it's because it was late or I just wasn't thinking, and I overlay, and I believe I go for a copy of H.A.T here, even though I already had the read that he had Trap Trick Trap Hole Nightmare. I use the effect, and he does have it, and at that point I'm just like, why did I even do that? That was kind of a dumb play on my part. I'm then going to use Mizuki, banishing it, trying to go for the copy of Ghost, and that's unfortunately going to be met with Debunk. He's then going to normal summon Yellow Gadget, try to use the effect, and did he use the effect? I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember exactly there, but I'm going to Fiendish it. We go back and forth a little bit here. He's going to MST my Blackhorn, and then he is going to go for a Soul Charge play, bringing back a Yellow Gadget and a copy of Mermail. Mermail is going to try to pop the back row. I'm going to chain Torrential, and now he's really low on life, and so I'm trying to do something here, but he's definitely up in advantage, especially me playing into a lot of back row. I summon Goblindenberg, swing in, he activates the Compulse, which is really unfortunate because he did it in battle phase, so I had a copy of Soul Charge that unfortunately couldn't be activated at that point. He swings in, life is basically tied. I special summon Dododo Buster because he has a monster and I don't, and then I normal summon Goblindenberg, he activates Torrential, chains the copy of Lance he has protecting his monster. I only had 100 life, he had 200 life, or maybe it was reversed, I don't entirely remember there, and so unfortunately he does take that one, so we move on into a game number 3, and here's where I mess up really big time. I activate Onomatopoeia, discarding a copy of GoGoGo Giant, adding a Dododo Buster and another copy of Giant. When I already had a copy of the Buster in hand, I meant to discard that so I could get Ghost or Golem in rotation. And I just kind of messed that up there, and that's going to cost me later on in this game. From here, I go and summon the Giant I had, trying to go for the other Giant. He crows it. I then Instant Fusion, go for Lavalval Chain, use the Lavalval Chain, send a Mizuki, and set 1. And at this point, I'm cut off of access to my other monsters I needed because I had a lot of extenders in hand and nothing to normal summon to get it through. He's going to Dark Hold because his hand wasn't great either, and then from here he kind of goes for a Mermail play with Kagedo Kage, and we kind of mess up the sequencing a little bit so the edit looks a little out of place and like it was an illegal play, but it made sense to us during the time. Here he gets a copy of Bottomless, and yeah, so going back to this, he's just going to set more back row. I draw for turn. I'm not seeing anything still, again, just back row that isn't going to do much of anything, and just cards that are extenders. And here we're just passing back and forth. He's not really seeing anything either. Here I believe I set a bluff copy of Soul Charge and a copy of Bottomless, and he finally gets into Engine, and he goes for double summon, and he's going to summon another gadget, just constantly gaining all this advantage on me, which is really unfortunate given I'm just not seeing anything. It really did mess me up early on, going and not searching the copy of Ghost or Golem off the Onomatopoeia early on. It was like really late at night, and again, I was just new to the deck, not thinking. Here he does go for a copy of the Geargia. I try to Bottomless it. He does have the Lance again, unfortunately, and he's just going to keep gaining advantage, just more more and more back row, I try to special summon the copy of Dododo Buster, then tribute summon the Dododo Buster for Dododo Buster, using the effect trying to bring back the other from grave. That does get met with Breakthrough skill, and then from there, main phase 2, I'm trying to bait the copy of Bottomless because I do have Soul Charge, and so far he's just not taking any of the bait. I use Foolish to send Mizuki. Now here I'm using Mizuki, trying to bring back the copy of Ghost, and again, just no Bottomless, so I set a couple back row and pass it over to him. And at this point, it's just not looking good. He summons the copy of Red Gadget and then uses the effect Chain's Breakthrough skill from Graveyard. And then from here, he activates a copy of the Chain Summoning. And at that point, I know the game is lost. And unfortunately, I didn't really show how good this deck is just because of my poor playing and things like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and let me know if you want more live duels in the future. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.